Well, good morning. Welcome to my first Screencastify. And you probably will notice it's my first Screencastify as we go along because I'm not very good at this yet. But anyway, today we're going to talk about the circumference of a circle. Now, before we can really start talking about the circumference of a circle, we need to look at the formulas that there are for the circumference of a circle. And there are two of them. We have circumference. Like I said, I'm not going to be very good at this, so give me a second. There we go. Circumference equals 2 pi r, and circumference equals pi d. Now, obviously, we need to know what these things are, right? So we have 2 pi r, 2 times pi, pi we know is 3.14, and r is the radius, and then we have c equals pi d, again, pi being 3.14 times d, d being the diameter. So first off, we had to figure out what are these diameter and radiuses that we're talking about. Well, diameter is how far it is from one side of a circle to the other side of a circle going through the center point. So this is d, diameter, right? It's the one from one side of a circle to the other side of the circle going through the center point. Okay, so it's the full width of a circle. Well, then what's radius? Well, radius is from that same center part of the circle, but it's to any point on the outside part of the circle. It could be from there. It also could be there. These are both r, because r is halfway across the circle, any way you want to draw it. So you have all the way across the circle, that's the diameter. You have halfway across the circle, that's the radius. And those are the two things you really need to know to be able to do circumference. Now, circumference is just like perimeter, but it's the perimeter of a circle, right? So the distance, if I go all the way around this circle, that's what circumference is, right? It's the distance all the way around the circle. So let's take a look at a formula. Let's say the diameter of this circle is 10 inches. Right? So we have a diameter of 10 inches. Well, if we have a diameter of 10 inches, then what's our radius? Well, if our diameter is 10 and it's all the way across the circle, and the radius is halfway across the circle, then the r would have to equal 5 inches. So now I have enough information that I could do this using either one of these formulas. So let's use the easy one first. Let's go c equals pi d, right? So c would equal 3.14 times the diameter 10 inches, right? And so when we multiply 3.14 times 10, you don't have to be a genius to figure this one out, but we want you to always use a calculator. So when I punch this into my calculator, I get 31.4 inches. Now remember, circumference, that's the distance around. So it's in single units, whatever the unit of measure is, whether it be centimeters, meters, feet, whatever, it's the distance around. Okay, so we have the circumference equals 31.4 inches. If I use the other formula, c equals 2 pi r, we would get the same thing, except it would be 2 times 3.14 times 5 inches, because the radius is 5 inches. Which when you put those all in your Desmos calculator or into a regular calculator, you'd get the exact same answer of 31.4 inches. Well, of course you would, because if you look here, you have 2 times 5, right, which is 10, and 10 times 3.14, 31.4. You have the exact same thing. Okay, so the circumference of a circle, what do you need to remember? It's the outside part of the circle. It's the distance around the circle. It's the perimeter of a circle. What are the formulas for it? Well, circumference equals 2 pi r or pi d. Now, here's the nice thing. You never have to memorize these formulas. You have a formula sheet. The formula sheet will be there for you. You can use the formula sheet. On the formula sheet, it even tells you that we use 3.14 for pi. It tells you that r is the radius. It tells you that d is diameter. It even has a picture so that you can see what the radius and the diameter are. Okay, so it's really easy to use. Use your formula sheet, use these formulas. Only really way to get good at this is to practice with them. So anyway, this was my first shot at making a Screencastify, and I only have one problem right now. I don't know how to stop it. So I'm going to try and figure that out. But you guys, you have a great day.